Good morning. My name is Teresa James, and I'm your musician for the day. And welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. Welcome to our virtual service today. I'm going to sing you a song right now. Sun is up, a new day is before you. Sun is up, wake your sleepy soul. Sun is up, hold on to what is yours. Take up your spade, break ground. Shake off your shoes, leave yesterday behind you. Shake off your shoes, but forget not where you've been. Shake off your shoes, forgive and be forgiven. Take up your spade, break ground. Give thanks for all that you've been given. Give thanks for who you can become. Give thanks for every moment and every crime. Take up your spade, break ground, break ground.
Pick it up and break ground. Good morning, Teresa James.
Morning.
Good morning. What a fabulous song.
Oh, thank you. Good. That was a Sarah Watkins song.
Uh-huh. It's got such depth and meaning to new beginnings, right? And also provides such a great visual of part of the key for the transformation is you got to pick up the spade so that you can then put it in the dirt and dig it, and it's all action oriented in our teaching, which I'm sure you've heard before, is um, old school metaphysicians would say you got to do treatment, which is what affirmative prayer is, treatment of this. You got to treat and then move your feet, meaning that you can't just pray. Part of it is tuning into the transformation that's happening through you. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. So excited to share the space with you. Before we move on, I just have a quick question. So are many of the posters or advertisements over your shoulders of shows that you've done over the years?
Yes, yeah, quite a few of them are.
I love it. I love it. Well, I know that you perform a lot in a club out in, is it Ventura?
Sometimes in Ventura, Van Nuys,
Van Nuys. Because
wherever.
Maureen always tries to get me to come out and meet you guys there, and it's like Maureen, it's usually on a Friday night. It's like I can't just handle the traffic, but I always hear such great reviews about how much fun you all have. So
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. It is
you're
fun.
welcome. You're welcome. Well, so glad to have you with us here today, Teresa James.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here, so thank you for having me.
Good. We'll see you in just a moment again. So Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and welcome to our Sunday morning celebration service, our virtual online service, as we kick off the year 2025 as the Gregorian calendar has spun its wheel again, and we have new digits. Well, actually, we just have one new digit in front of us, right? It's the last of them all, this move from a 4 to a 5. But what that means for all of us is, just as Teresa was singing about, is the opportunity that we have before us to begin to think anew, to co-create anew, and to reveal that which is deep within us, that is the essence of the only thing there is. In our philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind, we believe that there's only, at the most esoteric, absolute level, one thing going on ever, and that is the activity of the divine. And that you and I individualize that through our thinking, through our beliefs, through our actions, through our reactions and interactions with the thing itself, which we will be talking about a lot more today. And so I welcome you, wherever you may be joining us from, through the world of technology, whether it's live on Zoom today or through our YouTube channel, or at a later date where you viewed us for whatever means and method you may have found us, and to know that you are the perfection and the wholeness and the completeness of that thing itself. And that it matters not what we call it, but it matters greatly that we call upon it often for the purpose and to tune into the resonance field of it and its nature. In this philosophy, faith, and way of life that we practice here, mostly practice it, meaning we practice other things as well, at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, is the science of mind. In the science of mind, we believe that each and every individual includes the qualities of the divine that are not limited to, but do include peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And so today I affirm for each one of us that we tune into at least one of those or all of them, and that in so doing it provides us a greater sense of comfort as we navigate our human life expressing our divine nature. So I'm going to put on the screen a slide to get us started, and we'll go from there. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and we're a community that's come together for well over 30 plus years. And the vision statement at present of our community is supporting individuals on the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. I invite all of us to take a deep breath in, and as we exhale, open ourselves up to that spiritual awakening. Look into the screen that shows the cosmos and all of the different sparkling elements of the cosmos, and know that you and I are one with that and all that it is. What is a spiritual awakening? Well, one way that we like to look at it is this. To spiritually awaken is to remember that who and what you are and have always been is the infinite, immortal sea of consciousness, one with all that exists, not as an intellectual understanding, but as a real and tangible experience and lifestyle. It's so interesting. I was chatting with someone yesterday. I was out walking my dog, someone who's it's a practitioner, if you will, of metaphysics, and we were talking about the taking this information and growing with it and learning from it and applying it. And he was giving me his opinion on that, and he's like, it doesn't do us any good if we don't practice what we know. And I said, well, Ernest Holmes' quote is, information without application is hallucination. He goes, oh, I like that. And so what that means for me, for each one of us in this very moment, is let's make a commitment today as we kick off the year 2025, the first time coming together, to take the information that we know and absorb and hear anew today and choose to apply it in a new way. We like to open our service each and every morning with what's called a ritual, a morning ritual. We typically use the same words and the same elements, and today we're going to use a lot of that. And our ritual is called Calling in the Light. And today I'd like for us to just open ourselves up to tuning into the divine in a new way and feeling this essence of the thing itself in a new way, to look at the screen and see how the light of the candle on the screen is a bit hidden. And yet, intellectually, we know it's there. We can see it. We even know that for it to illuminate the globe that it sits in on the screen, it must be ignited. And so that requires us to apply our intellect, our imagination, and our depth of wisdom and knowledge. As we do that today, let's open ourselves up to a new meaning or an expanded awareness of the power of the only thing there is. We like to call it God, but it's okay if you call it any other word. And as we call in the light today, and as we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. We also call it God. Let's know that as we do this, we unify with all of humanity and choose to live in the light of the divine in a new way. As we call in the light, meaning tune into a greater awareness of it than ever before, I'd like to invite us to use my acronym for this of living in God's healing truth. I invite you to let it mean something for you that means something to you. And what it means to me right now is that this power is unfailing by nature. It's always present. And then its nature, as we've learned over the years, is to respond to us by giving us a corresponding state of mind. Let's define that state of mind as receptive, as in tune, and as always growing, evolving, and living in a state of forgiveness. I'd like for us to hear this Buddhist prayer of forgiveness and to let it be a mantra for us today as we go about our life in this newfound state of awareness. If I've ever harmed anyone in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly, through my own confusions, I ask their forgiveness. If anyone has harmed me in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly, through their own confusions, I forgive them. And if there's a situation I'm not yet ready to forgive, I forgive myself for that. For all the ways that I harm myself, negate, doubt, belittle myself, judge or be unkind to myself through my own confusions, I forgive myself. I wanted to share that with us today because this act of forgiveness is much like we were speaking of earlier. Information without application is hallucination. This particular prayer guides us, even though it's in a form of if I. In our teaching, we like to look at it as an affirmation, a declaration, is the action of asking forgiveness, asking of forgiving in our own way, and then for anything that we're unaware of, to open up through our state of mind the next framework of forgiveness, meaning releasing that which was and opening to that which can be. Let's all look into the flames on the screen and letting this light, God's healing truth as we live in it, be a balm for as we grow together. As Teresa comes on the screen and takes us through our song, Lighting the Flames of Faith.
There is one flame burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
I know I say this every time I hear that song because we don't use that every Sunday. You know, he's calling the light of light. It is so beautiful. There's one flame, right, that burns from within. It's another song that is profound and poetic in its own way. So, Teresa, you've chosen a song to take us through the next part of our service.
Yes.
Yes. And it's from a glorified, undiva like diva, right?
There you go. Yes.
Do you want to tell us about it?
Well, you know what? And I'm pretty sure that Nina Simone wrote this song, but I'm not
Uh
100%
huh.
sure. But she had the. It's a song that's been done a million times. It's I'm feeling good.
Good. What a great way to frame the next part of who we are today, right? I'm feeling good, baby.
Yeah.
All right, well, take it away.
Okay, great. Thank you. Oh, birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, oh, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, hey, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new way of life for me, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sky, oops, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, and you know how I feel. Oh, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Stars when you shine, ooh, you know how I feel. The scent of the pine, yeah, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how you feel. Yeah, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, oh, for me, and I'm feeling good. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Oh, yeah. It's a new day, and I'm feeling
Go, Nina Teresa.
good.
It's what a great song.
It's such a great song.
Great song during a great era of great music. Have you seen the new Bob Dylan film, A Complete Unknown?
No, but I've heard every single person has said it's just unbelievably great.
Well, he's unbelievably great. Timothy Chalamet is it's
He,
mesmerizing.
he
He's
really,
amazing, and the film's good. But it speaks to that era, and as you sing that song, it takes me back to watching that film because it evokes the rumblings that were taking place, the undercurrent, in consciousness at the time, and change and transformation was just being called forth for such a deep level on so many levels, so.
On so many levels. And it's kind of amazing that this Nina Simone song is so positive because most of her stuff was so angry back then.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's probably the light that's the opposite of the darkness, right? So, both has to exist. And so um, it would be interesting if one would ever be able to know when she wrote that song, or if it was, or when she found it rumbling through her, if it was actually literally during a dawn, a literal dawn. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. I love having you here. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for
Well,
sharing
I'm
that.
thrilled to be here. So thank you
Good.
for,
And
I can't
and
wait
what
to
a
get
perfect
into this.
choice for song.
Oh, good. Good,
Yeah,
good, good.
you'll know why in just a second. All right, so I'll see you soon.
Okie dokie.
All right, bye. So I'm going to throw on the screen today. We're going to have some slides. Oh, I'm really close to the camera there. Some slides, and then a multimedia presentation that I'm going to share. Because as we kick off, I wanted to shake things up just a little bit today. And as we move into this first 4 Sundays of January, in the sense that just as in so many different centers, and it's traditional within Science of Mind centers or centers for spiritual living, on the first 4 Sundays of the month to review the first 4 chapters of the book, The Science of Mind. The Science of Mind is considered the textbook for this teaching, even though it wasn't written as a textbook. It has been compiled and published that way. And the first 4 chapters are the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. And the reason I just said to Teresa that song was such a perfect segue into our message today is because our theme for the month of January this year is A New Dawn Has Dayed. A new dawn has dayed, and obviously a play on the words, a new day has dawned. But it's specific that I wanted to use that term, a new dawn has dayed, so that we can remember and be reminded that as we all practice, whether we're new to it or choosing to be new in it, this philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the Science of Mind, that we are taught here. One of the great things that I'm attracted to about it, I know so many of you, is that our as I was saying earlier, treat and move your feet. Our approach to life is to declare and claim the dawn prior to its making its appearance. Because our teaching is we declare in mind that which exists for us as a reality prior to it taking form, using the tenet of our principles of the Science of Mind from spiritual mind treatment, meaning that in those statements, we use it as a declaration form of prayer, affirming that which is, as opposed to a supplication, asking for something to be presented to us or created or granted to us, because the power itself does not have the ability to grant or not grant. It just simply is. We're going to hear about that in a new way today through this video that I'm going to show for us. I'm excited to share with those of you. But before that, I'd like to begin by reminding us all that what we're here to do, and I'm going to use some old slides we had before, is to grow forward. And we're choosing to grow forward when you can't go back, because you can't go back no matter what. And I love the image on the screen of the flower that has risen up through its flower pot turned upside down. More than likely, being the flower pot turned upside down was either someone's intention or thinking that was it. We've dumped it out. It can't grow anymore. Just personally, right before the service started, I took 4 different pots of poinsettias that we actually used in our December 8th service and have been nurturing them. And as I was nurturing them earlier, and they just continue to thrive and grow, I thought to myself, it's never been my nature to have a green thumb. It's always been a brown thumb, and yet this is working. Why is that? And my thought was, well, I'm meeting it in consciousness as it's meeting me in consciousness, and choosing to grow forward, to have a new perspective, in other words. I love in the Science of Mind, as it kicks off in the book leading up to the thing itself, there's a foreword written by Jean Houston, and she writes this: the Science of Mind offers us the passion for a new possibility, along with the precise and clear directions for building a new matrix of mind and manifestation. The theme isn't lost on me here, and assuming it's not for you either, that we're not just here to build a new matrix of mind, no matter where we've been in mind. But what goes along with that is the manifestation. It's the physical form of what's the outward expression of our consciousness, individually and collectively, that we get to look at and say, what's shaking in my mind, baby? How do we know? We look at the form. She goes on to tell us that the science of mind, this philosophy, faith, and way of life, shows us how to activate the constructive imagination and how to hold in thought and feeling the intention and the energy for healing, holding, and co-creation. She's telling us here that yes, thinking is important, but we're going to hear even later today more about the feeling component to it. She says to us that evolution is seen to follow involution, that when we involve ourselves in our evolution, wherein we discover that our minds are stargates, our bodies celled of mysteries that give us keys to the emerging phase of our existence. Where are you today in the emerging phase of your existence? I purposefully and intentionally wanted to state that today and also remind us that is our new thought for the day that went out this morning at 7:30, but to tune into consciously being one who is aligned with their evolution. Houston tells us here, evolution is seen to follow involution, wherein we discover that our minds are stargates, our bodies celled of mysteries that give us keys to the emerging phase of our existence. What we're talking about today is the first chapter of this book called The Thing Itself. When I first came into this teaching in 1982, and in the next few years, and I would listen to this first Sunday as it was addressed, The Thing Itself, I always loved how radical and rebellious it seemed to call the power of God the thing itself. It seemed impersonal, and it seemed like a declaration that I, the individual, you and I, or as the individuals, are ready to stake claim to a new perspective and a new opinion and a new participation in the creative ethers of the universe, to let go and release ourselves, myself in that moment, excuse me as I slurp that tea, of old ideology, of an old way of looking at it, of any vestige of hanging on to that which seemed to be an old way of looking at it. Holmes talks about the thing itself in The Science of Mind in the first chapter as this: the great love of the universe, the thing itself, the power of God, whose desire is to create more of itself out of itself through us, must be one with the great law of its own being. And we approach love, defined as the self-givingness of spirit, through the law. Then this then is the teaching, love and law. What does that mean to you? What it means to me is that today is the day that you and I are being invited to tune in to knowing that we're more than we appear to be. That life itself is greater than we've ever known it, and it's the best is yet to come. Now, for the best to be yet to come for you and I, we must be a conscious participant in the evolution of our own mind. We must be willing to let go and then let go and then let go of those old vestiges of what we've hung on to in regards to, yes, this teaching and to how we've used our mind as a co-creative power. To be willing to evolve, as it shows us on the screen, into that which was smaller than it is today at some point and purer than it's ever been in expression form, although the pureness of life is always who we are. To tune in to the wisdom that exists within us and to hear things anew and to stake claim into life as a spiritual evolution, meaning awakening to that remembrance of who we are as spiritual beings, and to tune into new potentials, to tune in to new. We change the world, Ernest tells us, not by what we say or do, but as a consequence of what we have become. And to let that which we have become to then be the foundation of that which is where we're ready to go. Today, I want us to listen to a new perspective on our teaching, our philosophy, our way of life, not framed specifically as a science of mind approach, but to listen to this entity, and yes, I call it that because that's how it identifies itself, Abraham Hicks, who is channeled through a human, talk about metaphysics, talks about source, talks about the thing itself, and our role in that in this video that Travis is going to play in just a moment when I give him the go-ahead to do that. This is something that was shared with me back before Christmas. I've listened to it time and time and time and time and time and time again because I believe within it is this nugget or nuggets of wisdom and brilliance and a new way to tune in to the thing itself and our role in it. I want you to know that that which we're about to hear is incredibly dense, but it's got a lot to take in. I've made the decision, and Robert and I have put it in our newsletter that goes out tomorrow, the link to this. You can hear it over and over and over again, but I want you to listen to it today when Abraham invites us into being willing to hear things anew, to listen to language that is different and know it resonates with us, and know that as Abraham refers to we, and Abraham will a lot, Abraham's referring to themselves as an expression of light and the individual that they're being channeled through. Don't get caught up into any of that. Just listen to this and be willing to allow this to be a gift and a blessing to each of us today to kick off this new year, hearing something clearly that we haven't heard before, and to enjoy the visuals of the animation that's going to be on the screen as well. But take it in, take it in, take it in. Travis, take it away.
You are the creator of your own reality, and you are a pure extension of source energy. And you've come to use the power of your focus, to use the power of your thoughts to create. Thought and focus is like molding the clay. You're doing it with your mind rather than with your hands, but you are the creator of your reality, and you are so much more than you see here in these physical bodies. This physical body, oh, important. You came into this physical body so that you could use this personality and this mind to be your focal point for creating. And you have the energy that creates worlds, the intelligence that creates worlds, the knowledge that creates worlds, flowing to you and through you for your creative endeavor and pleasure and joy and enlightenment and amusement and upliftment and interest and fun. In other words, you make it all so serious. When what you've come for the pleasure, for the joy, for the exhilaration in using your thoughts, your mind, your opinions, your perspective in order to create around you the world that you choose, not the world that someone has chosen for you, not even the world that you at a former time have chosen, but what you are choosing right here, right now. The energy that creates worlds is flowing to you and through you if you will allow it, but you've got to allow your own blessings. You've got to allow them. And you know what? So much of the time, you don't. You block them because you've given yourself some criteria that you've picked up along your physical trail. Somebody did a real number on you somewhere where they convinced you that you were not blessed, that you were not worthy, and that you had to struggle and strive and try for it, and that just is not true. In fact, the opposite of that is true. The more you struggle and strive and try for it, the more you look at the problem and try to fix it, the more you hold the problem in your vibrational frequency, and the more you disallow the true desire that the problem has given birth to within you. We want you to understand a handful of things, and when you do, your life is going to be what you want it to be. We want you to know that you create your own reality. We want you to know that you are a vibrational being in a vibrational universe. We want you to know that you create through the power of your thought. We want you to know that your thoughts matter. Your thoughts matter, and they matter a lot. They matter more than everything else put together. Your thoughts matter. You cannot think thoughts that make you hurt in your heart or feel fear in your gut. You cannot think those kinds of thoughts and thrive. in the way that you are meant to, in the way that you want to, in the way that you're supposed to, in the way that you deserve to, in the way that it is natural for you to. You cannot look at the what is if what is lacking something you want and get to what you want. You can't do it. It won't work. It never will. Law of attraction does not allow it because you create your own reality. So it turns out that it's all about thought. It's all about thinking. It's all about focusing. But how do you know? How do you know if your thoughts are valid? How do you know if your thoughts are helpful? How do you know if your thoughts are working for you in the way you want them to? Well, there are two ways you can find out. One is look around and see what's happening to you. And if it isn't what you want, then your thoughts are not working for you because you are not working your thoughts in the way that you can. The other way is you can pay attention to the way you feel, because the way you feel is your indication, and oh, that's the way we want you to focus. That's what we want you to be aware of the most. Because your thoughts are always playing off of. Your thoughts are always having a relationship with the thought of the source within you about everything that is happening now. You cannot have an emotion yesterday. You can remember the emotion that you had yesterday when yesterday was now. And you cannot have an emotion tomorrow. You can anticipate emotion that you will have tomorrow, but you're doing it now. So all of your indication is now about what you're doing with your thought. The important thing that you are doing with your thought. And the subject of your thought is not important. The way the thought feels is. Because the subject of your thought, oh, you are masters, you are genius, you can think about anything in the world that you want to think about. And source energy will flow toward it and carve out a relationship with that subject and you for your delight, for your pleasure, for your edification, for your expansion, for your enlightenment. In other words, this is a cooperative universe and you matter a lot here. But we want you to see the big picture. We want you to understand how you fit into all of it. We want you to claim your important place in this, because you're not just here accidentally. You're here purposefully, deliberately here. And you're not here insignificantly. You're here importantly and significantly. You matter to all that is. And we want you to matter to you. We want how you feel to become of premium importance to you. We want you to stop being valiant and not try so hard to be whatever somebody else thinks you should be. And we know a lot of them have let you know what you need to do in order to please them. But in that process of playing to what others want, you've forgotten in many cases the most important thing, and that is your relationship, your visceral, emotional, gut level feeling relationship between the thought you're thinking right now and the thought that your inner being is thinking right now about the same thing in the same moment right now. So if you, for whatever reason, have decided that you are inappropriate in some way, you don't feel so good. You either feel fearful or guilty, or in some cases, blameful and resentful. Because the thought that you're thinking about yourself right here and now is so not in harmony with the thought that Source is thinking about you right here, right now. Because Source knows your value and knows who you really are and knows what your desires are and knows your worthiness. Source always knows your value. And when you deviate from that, whether you're the object of your attention or somebody else is, when you devalue yourself or someone else, you're going to get crossways of the source within you who will never, ever do that, you see. So we know, coming on pretty strong here this morning, because we want you to hear us, and volume doesn't help, does it? Stubborn consistency sometimes does, though. We want you to accept that you create your own reality, and that you do it through your focus, and that you can tell by the way you feel how you're doing. And if you care about the way you feel, and you start contouring your thoughts so that they feel better and better and better and better and better, then your thriving is going to be more evident to you in so many ways. We want to talk to you about how it is that you create your own reality. We know as you move around in your physical world, in your physical body, interacting with so many other physical beings, that there is so much that is manifested that you are observing that you sort of want to set that aside and call that manifested world reality. And it's all right with us if you want to call it reality, as long as you call it temporary, ever-changing reality, as long as you call it the result of the thoughts that you're thinking, as long as you understand that it is changing all day, every day. And sometimes you say, oh, not so much, Abraham, it's not changing very much for me. My reality has pretty much been the same amount of money in the bank for as long as I can remember. My reality has been the same amount of credit card debt for a long time that I can remember. Yeah, it's right up there against my limit, right there. Or my physical condition has been pretty much the same for a long time. And we want you to acknowledge, we want you to leave this gathering acknowledging that the reason that your reality doesn't seem like it's changing, it is. But it's just changing to more of the same. It's just changing to what you're observing. It's just changing to more of the same. Different places, different faces, but the same sort of experience. Mostly, don't you acknowledge that? And that's because you've got patterns of thoughts that you keep regurgitating. We love you very much. You keep regurgitating thoughts. That's what beliefs are. A belief is just a thought that you continue to think. And as you continue to think that thought, you're going to have the same relationship with that thought. In other words, that thought, that habit of thought, that vibration, that vibrational offering is going to keep bringing back to you the same response, because it's the same thought that you keep thinking. And the same thought that you keep thinking is going to bring you back the same response. And that is the advantage that you have with one another, is that you have the advantage of seeing others around you getting differing results, which could cause you to expect different results for yourself if you will focus upon the different results that they are getting in a positive way rather than in a negative way. So we want you to know that you are the creator of your own reality, and we want you to remember that you live in a vibrational world and that you are a vibrational being. And we want you to remember that you get to choose your thoughts, and that if you will choose thoughts that feel good, then what that means is you'll be harmonizing with a broader perspective. And do you know why that is? Do you know that you are extensions of source energy? Do you know that the larger part of you didn't come into this physical body when you do? Do you understand that the whole of you, the soul of you, the eternal part of you is present with you all the time? Do you understand what source energy is? Do you know what infinite intelligence is? Do you know what this consciousness of non-physical is? Do you know what it is that man calls God? Do you get it, that you are an extension of something that is so intelligent and so loving and so ever present in your life experience that you, whether you know it or not, whether you admit it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, you have a relationship with that. And that relationship that you have with that is known to you by your emotions. So when you're down on yourself, that awful feeling is because you're crossways of what source knows about you. If you're down on someone else, any negative emotion is your indication that your thought right here about that is different than source's thought right here, right now about that.
So dense, and yet frames metaphysics and science of mind in such a brilliant way. It's an invitation to each one of us to allow this to be a catalyst and a jumping off point, if you will, to use our mind in a new way today, to open up to the blessings that exist in our life right now, and to know that, yes, a new dawn has dayed, and to embrace that everything around us is always changing. I love the way she talked about bumping up against your credit limit, up against my limit, up against my limit, which is both a literal statement she's making, but also a metaphorical statement around where in our life are there imposed limitations that we keep bumping up against, thinking that that's the maximum of what we can express and experience in life. And then to tune in to, yes, we are the co-creators of our own reality. And how do we do it? We do it now. It's that now moment. And I love the statement when she talks about we are to contouring our thoughts. Of course, I think of RuPaul's Drag Race, of them contouring facial features. But if you look at that context, Robert can tell me if I'm right or not because he's a makeup artist. The concept of contouring is putting a foundation on that wipes everything that was previously there away and then building something new, creating a nose where it wasn't before, or having one disappear, creating cheekbones, creating lips, creating eyebrows, creating a visual experience of that which is desired but is being contoured, being created by the creative energy that is there already, but is being facilitated through the hands and the imaginative component of the person doing the painting. That is an example of what's possible for you and I in imagining and contouring the life that we desire. But what we must do first, Abraham is telling us, is to make a conscious decision to know without attachment that our thought and focus is like molding the clay, and we are the creator of our reality, and our reality is an outward expression of how we feel about ourselves. Holmes tells us in the book The Science of Mind, in this first chapter, this: let us approach the science of mind. He's not talking about approaching the text. He's talking about approaching our engagement in this philosophy, faith, and way of life, our engagement, our use of our mind, an engagement in an understanding and acceptance of that which is, and an alignment to its innate nature. He goes on to call it the science of spiritual psychology with awe. In other words, with excitement, with a sense of adventure, with an sense of inspiration. And he says, but not with fear. With truly a humble thought, yes, but not with a sense that we are unworthy. That's what Hicks is telling us. You're worthy. And that you're worthy way beyond what we're even able to comprehend, and yet we're called to comprehend it more and more and more and more. And the very thing itself that we are did not just come into being into us. The majority of it is elsewhere, meaning that it's everywhere. But at the same time, it is that which is animating life for us. So Holmes goes on then to say, let us approach it normally, happily, willing to accept, glad to experiment, hoping and believing that as a result of our efforts, we shall each derive a great good. Each derive a great good. Meaning that which we want for ourselves, which should always be an expanded sense of who we are, and more good, uppercase G, meaning more of life that is an outward expression of that which is within us, which we believe is peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom at a minimum, we should want for everyone else on this planet. And within that is a sound understanding of the natural laws of life as they apply to the individual in their relationship to the whole universal scheme of things. When we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. And to know that we must learn to come under that divine government and accept the fact that nature's table is ever filled, for never was there a cosmic famine. Today, I wanted to shake things up, and I hope it did for you, by seeing this animation, by hearing this language differently, by being inspired and pushed to the limit. You know, one of my great teachers for years used to always say, it's so important to live on the leading edge, but not the bleeding edge. In other words, keep pushing ourselves right to the edge of our comfort zone. And it's from there we will grow and evolve. And to remember that each and every time we expand our thinking and expand our awareness and expand our feelings and to tune into them, this law of life that we began the message with this morning talking about is always there. And what does it do? It provides through us an experience or experiences that is reflective of our willingness to trust it. Today, I hope that this has brought you as much inspiration as clearly it does to me, because you can hear it in my voice. I love it. And I just want to remind you that you have access, both if you're on YouTube, to that link in the message system. They put it on there. And also you'll have it in our newsletter tomorrow. Please, 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 please watch it, listen to it, watch it, listen to it. I have over and over and over again, because I believe that it creates a spark within us to see and be things anew. Thank you so very much. Teresa's going to come back and take us out on a song before we close out the day. Teresa?
Man, that was amazing. That was so much for sharing that. I can think of so many people that I really want to share this whole service, but maybe that video will make the impression that I've been.
You can do it. I'll send you the link so you have it. But you're
Thank
absolutely
you.
welcome. And absolutely. And how many Science and Mind centers would show that, huh? Not many.
Not
So
me.
love it.
I'm,
All right,
I'm
my dear.
really happy to have seen
Thank
it.
you. Good.
And I think this song goes along pretty well with that, actually. So let's see how this works. Glass half empty, glass half full. Depends on the day, depends on the fool who is asking, and the fool who replies, you're gonna drink it up anyway. It doesn't really matter what you say. Raise your cup to another day in this big old life. Door wide open, door closed down. Depends on the moon, depends on the clown in your head, waving all of those signs. So skip the wherefores and shouldn't be's. Head straight for the exit, please. Step onto the path you made in this big old life. The sun comes up, the sun goes down on every small forgotten town, shining down on every soul, spinning light in every dark hole. Ain't a thing that you got to do to let that sun shine down on you. Step right up to this big old life. Love me tender, love me not. Depends on the flower, depends on the heart plucking petals, and the mirror inside. Are you ready to rise and shine? Are you ready to say be mine? If you are, then let's take a ride in this big old life. Are you ready to rise and shine? Are you ready to say be mine? If you are, then let's take a ride in this big old life. Ah, let's take a ride in this big old life.
I love it. Girl, you can play that piano.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, I'm thanking you for having me.
Yeah, and in some ways, it's really fun to be able to do it out of the privacy of your own home, right?
It is. It is. It's
Yeah, you can control what tea you want to drink, what temperature it is, and you don't have to get in the car and drive home when it's done. So,
yes. No,
well,
but
good.
also it makes it more intimate and more. I'm less self conscious actually. So it's
You
great.
mean when you're on Zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Well, it is interesting. I was sharing with somebody recently. We were having a conversation how we've all become, even though there are times we don't like it, become so comfortable with this format, right? So.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, thank you. I know you're going to take us out with the peace song later, but thank you for being here. I know that we always adore having you here, and just love your style, babe. Love your style.
Thanks, dear. All right. I'll be back in a second.
All right, sounds good. Thanks. Thank you all for being here as well. I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Robert Hensley and to Travis Smith today. And just know that we appreciate all that each of you do for us. And thank you, thank you. Thank you to all of you who are here today, both through our Zoom and YouTube, and whoever may be watching at a later date. I want to let you know that next Sunday we'll be back in person at our home at 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California at 10:30 a.m. Please plan to show up and to bring friends. We'll have great musical combination next week of Laura Wiley and James Harper, I believe. So it's going to be really exciting to do that. Also know that at 7:30 a.m. each morning we have a new thought for the day that goes out in a text format. Hope you're all receiving those and allowing those to be an inspiration. And Wednesday morning we're back with our midweek morning meditation at 8:30 in the morning, and that's where we're at. And just know that we appreciate any and all of your financial contributions. You can go to our website, CSL-LA.org, and click on donate there, and that'll give you the opportunity to support us financially, knowing that it's all appreciated and put to very good use. As well as you can use our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living, and or you can go to either of those sites and it'll give you options of how to support us financially. And so thank you, and thank you. And so with that, I'm going to take us out with an affirmation spiritual mind treatment, and then Teresa will come back on and take us out through the song Let There Be Peace on Earth. If you're on through Zoom, we'll stay on for a moment and say a brief hello to each other if we'd like to do that. And after that, we'll say goodbye to those of you on YouTube. Thank you for being here. And let's know together today that I declare and affirm for each one of us that we are inspired, that we accept that which we have received today as the blessing that it was given, that we feel, and we consciously feel, gratitude for everything that has led to this moment. Then we make a conscious commitment to grab the spade and till the soil to unearth the new. That today is the day that we make a commitment to ourselves, to the best of our ability, to stay in the now moment. We do that for the purpose of being present. We're present in the presence of the great I am. And we do that with conviction, with trust, with faith, and with intention and with purpose to expand and to evolve and to allow that which has taken root in us as an energy to express, and we express it. And so should there be any semblance of fear within us, we release it right now and approach our engagement in the energy of the divine that is within us with awe and with a sense of experimentation, and using the analogy of the thoughts and feelings. Our thoughts and feelings are the clay by which we mold that which we desire to experience. We begin a molding right now. And we affirm good is in our life. And it is in everyone's life. So we appreciate this moment, and then this moment, and then this moment, knowing that it's all an experience and expression of the perfection that is the source. Change is good. A new dawn has day starting right now, and so it is. Teresa's going to come on and we're going to sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. I invite you to sing along from wherever you are and know that each and every tone, each and every music note, each and every consonant that we sing is indeed making this change begin to rise up and make itself known. Thank you. Take it away, Teresa.
All right, y'all sing with me now. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, united all are we. Let us work with each other, perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. Take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and it begins with